Okay, so here we are at week 4, and this week we're continuing with the theme of unity and creating that unity within your work. So I thought we'll do this lovely sort of picture of these kind of geese and this kind of farm kind of building in the background. And it really just to show that the way that the way of kind of creating that kind of unified kind of first layer, it can sort of translate to literally every painting that you do pretty much. The only one I probably wouldn't use it so much on is perhaps portraits, but really it applies to everything. So I thought we'd have a go at doing this one, and I'm going to give you the colour version this week, just so that you've got a little bit more of a control in terms of the colours that you use. So speaking of colours, we are continuing with our primary sort of set of colours. So again, I'm using French Ultramarine, Permanent Rose, Winsor Yellow as my primary set, and we'll bring in again Burnt Sienna and maybe Burnt Umber if we need it. Okay, so those are our colours. So once again, before you begin, really have a look at your picture and see where the lightest areas are, where the darkest areas are. So, it's very obvious we've got this very sort of dark kind of space here going into the building, and everything else seems a little bit lighter. We can maybe do something a little bit more interesting with the roof than this colour here, so I might change that. So these are the kind of decisions to be made now while you're kind of right at the beginning of this. Okay, so once you've done that, then we can get started. So you can kind of go ahead and draw that, or you can even trace it. It's up to you, but I'm only asking you to trace it for this week because we are doing a kind of skills-based lesson, and it's more about the painting than it is about the drawing. Okay, so let's go. So let's do that lovely loose layer. So let's get some yellow in the hair. So plenty of water. So really this is just about sort of creating some lovely kind of textures and colours, which we can then sort of play around with. So notice I'm not really kind of reserving any I'm not painting around the geese in a sense. The only bit I'm kind of avoiding is these two little bits of highlights. Actually, I should have left one here as well on this one. Let's see if I can just pick that out. Other than that, I'm just kind of really kind of putting that colour down. Okay, so again, if you need to pick it up and kind of move it around, you can do that. I think it's looking fine as it is. I'm not gonna do that this time, but yours might be sort of quite wet, and you might might think, oh yes, I'm going to kind of pick that up and move it around. I think mine's okay for the moment, so I'm not going to do that. So let's just do a few more drop-ins. Just to sort of balance that across there. Okay, so once again, I'll let that dry and then we'll come back in and we'll do the next layer. Okay, so now that's lovely and dry. And so again, we are now going to start building up into all of those kind of darker spaces. So obviously the one that's kind of crying out is this kind of space in the middle here. So I could potentially start from here and then kind of work my way out. So let's do that, because that kind of hems these lovely geese in. So the question is what colour to use in that dark. So what we've got is this lovely sort of yellow, and so obviously the complementary to that would be purple. So what I will use is a kind of purpley kind of blue colour in here, so, or a purpley burnt sienna and a kind of purple, just to give it a little bit of warmth, because I don't want it to be too cool. So I might have it more blue up here and coming down to a more kind of warmer colour at the top, at the bottom. So let's mix that up. So I'll mix my purple first using my permanent rose and the alizarin, and then add a little bit of the sienna into that. So I want it to be cool. So when you mix your colour, just try and, I don't know whether you can see that, it's still a purple, it's still got the bit of sienna in it, but it's more on the cool side. And then what we'll do is we'll adjust that as we go down by adding more of the warmer sort of sienna colour. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. That's my second layer done, and then we'll come back in and do the last layer. Okay, so this is more or less dry, and so we're going to come in and just do that last layer of colour. So it's really about kind of putting in the darks now and really kind of bringing that painting to life. Okay. So I'm going to start off really up in the roof first and get that kind of hemmed in. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I think that's kind of pretty much done. I might take one more look at it once it's completely dried, but I think, you know, there's not much more to do on it really. So you can see how, once again, by starting with that very, very sort of loose layer underneath, it helps you just to unify all the sort of different areas of the painting. So I'll really look forward to seeing what you do with this week.